Hello there, curious minds. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into a topic that really weaves together legacy, financial foresight, and, well, a fascinating strategy. It's vital for a very specific professional group, financial advisors. We've poured over the material you've provided, all revolving around this powerful concept known as sell and stay strategies. And our mission today is to explore how advisors can truly monetize the equity in their practice before they fully retire. It's really a journey into safeguarding your life's work, and making the most of your future.
It truly is a pivotal moment, I think, in the financial advisory world. We're sort of standing on the cusp of a really significant wave of retirements. And for countless advisors, proactive planning isn't just, a good idea.
Right.
It's quickly becoming an urgent necessity.
Yeah.
The core challenge, as you've highlighted in your sources, is precisely how these advisors can effectively monetize the equity they've painstakingly built. Not just to mitigate risks, but to maximize that value well ahead of their complete exit.
Right.
This isn't just about handing over the reins. It's about smart, strategic transition.
And as we've seen, delaying this kind of critical planning carries some pretty urgent and, well, impactful risks. One of the biggest factors we need to talk about, I think, is the looming shift towards a buyer's market. It's a huge shift, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The data suggests that nearly half of all advisors are expected to retire in just the next 5 years. What does this massive wave of potential sellers mean for the market dynamics and, ultimately for advisors looking to exit?
That's an excellent point, and it's a critical piece of the puzzle here. This huge wave of impending retirements will dramatically increase the supply of practices available for sale. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
Many of the strong buyers we've seen over the last decade will themselves be eyeing retirement in the coming years.
Right.
So this intensifying supply, coupled with maybe an evolving demand landscape, could lead to suppressed prices and significantly reduced leverage for sellers.
Mm-hmm.
What was once a seller's market, where you kind of dictated terms, could very quickly flip. It's a classic supply and demand scenario playing out right before our eyes.
So waiting could literally mean leaving money on the table.
Wow. And it's not just about broad market shifts, right? The research underscores that age itself is an incredibly important number and often overlooked, maybe, in this whole equation. Can you elaborate on why an advisor's age, and critically their client's age, impacts practice value so profoundly?
Absolutely. So the average age of advisors looking to retire by 2030 is often cited as 70. Now, what's particularly concerning is that this typically mirrors the average age of their client base. Our analysis shows that a client average age of 70 is a major tipping point. It's towards a steep downward slope for practice value.
Why is that?
Well, because clients start drawing down assets for retirement, or sadly they pass away, and those assets often move to heirs outside the practice.
And for the advisor personally, the risk increases significantly too. I mean, the likelihood of unplanned death or disability rises, which can instantly throw any carefully laid retirement plan into chaos and drastically reduce practice value overnight.
That's a stark reality check.
Yeah.
Definitely. This raises an important question about a belief I've heard advisors hold, that practice value is steady, or that simply continuing to collect income is always better than monetizing your equity early. How does waiting challenge that assumption?
Yeah, it's a long-held belief, but it's often erroneous.
Yeah.
Our sources clearly demonstrate how waiting can systematically undermine years of built-up equity. Inaction, in fact, is identified as the greatest risk.
Get action.
It's deeply tied to what's sometimes called the 5-year myth.
The 5-year myth.
Right. This is where advisors repeatedly delay planning. They tell themselves they'll retire in about 5 years. Yeah. They said it 5 years ago. They say it today. And, well, they'll probably say it 5 years from now.
Yeah, I can see that.
And this false assumption leads them to stop investing in growth and, critically, to ignore the detrimental impact of client age and that slowed or negative growth on their practice value. It's not just a missed opportunity, it's an active erosion of wealth.
That 5-year myth is so relatable. It's like a financial advisor's version of saying, I'll start that diet next Monday, right? Forever putting it off. Have you encountered many advisors caught in this cycle? And what's the most common regret you hear when they finally do take action?
Absolutely. It's incredibly common. And often the biggest regret I hear is, I wish I hadn't waited. I left so much value on the table, or I had to accept a deal that wasn't ideal because I was up against the clock. It really underscores that inaction isn't just a missed opportunity, it's active erosion. It's the same principle we teach our clients, isn't it? You wouldn't keep all their assets in aggressive portfolios right at retirement, would you?
No, of course not.
Same prudent planning applies to their own practice. And on top of that, another critical risk factor our material highlights is the generation gap. So we're seeing a significant age difference, sometimes 15 to 20 years or more, between retiring advisors and the next-gen advisors poised to take over. This creates a real dearth of qualified successors ready to step in when advisors are finally ready to exit, which narrows the pool of potential buyers and increases the difficulty of finding the right fit.
So, okay, given all these looming risks, the shifting market, the age factor, the generation gap, that insidious 5-year myth, it's clear inaction is truly not an option. So what solutions are advisors turning to? What strategies are proving most effective in mitigating these risks? And, monetizing their practices ahead of full retirement, allowing them to truly take control.
That's precisely where this sell and stay concept becomes so compelling. It's a powerful strategy that essentially allows advisors to, have their cake and eat it too, as they say.
Okay.
It enables them to take equity off the table while remaining with the practice and continuing to serve clients. It's about being proactive rather than reactive.
That sounds like a dream scenario for many. Beyond the obvious benefit of taking some chips off the table, what makes sell and stay such a compelling solution for reducing risk?
Well, just as you manage risk in a client's portfolio, taking equity off the table also takes personal risk off the table for the advisor. You're securing a portion of your practice's value now, sort of insulating it from future market shifts or personal health changes.
Makes sense.
What's more, these strategies often result in better tax treatment for the asset, specifically the goodwill portion. That's essentially the intangible value, your client relationship to your brand, which typically qualifies for favorable capital gains rates.
Oh, that's key.
That's a significant financial advantage over the ordinary income tax rates you'd pay on, say, a consulting fee. That's a huge financial lever many advisors overlook, and it can save you a substantial amount in taxes.
That clarification on goodwill and tax treatment is incredibly valuable, really. So it's not just about the money, but how the money is treated.
Okay.
And what about the practice itself? Does a sell and stay arrangement actually improve the business?
What's fascinating here is how these sell and stay strategies go beyond just financial de-risking and tax efficiency. They actually significantly improve practice quality in many cases. We see scenarios where these arrangements lead to a better client mix, maybe more consistent growth, and improvements in other key metrics like average client size, client retention rates, or even operational efficiency.
Interesting.
All of these positively impact overall practice value. It's not just about selling, it's about optimizing what you leave behind or what you continue to be a part of.
And I can imagine these strategies also lead to much smoother transitions for everyone involved, especially the clients.
Absolutely. That's a huge piece. One of the biggest anxieties in any practice sale is client attrition. Sell and stay arrangements lead to much smoother transitions, precisely because they allow for a longer period for client relationships to transfer.
Right, more time.
Imagine having a year or even 3 years for clients to build rapport and trust with their successor rather than a sudden handoff. This reduces disruption due to change and, crucially, results in significantly less client attrition, which is a common and significant risk in traditional practice sales. It really honors the relationships built over decades.
It sounds like it can also offer a significant quality of life upgrade for the advisor, too.
Indeed. From a lifestyle perspective, these arrangements also often lead to improved work-life balance. Advisors can strategically hand off the elements of owning a practice that they no longer enjoy or, frankly, find burdensome.
Like the admin stuff.
Exactly. And shift their focus to the aspects they love, such as pure client service roles or building COI relationships. Those centers of influence, connections with estate attorneys, accountants, many advisors genuinely love doing that.
Sure.
This frees up valuable time for family, travel, or other personal pursuits. We've seen advisors use the equity taken out prior to full retirement to finance bucket list items while they're young enough to truly enjoy them. Whether it's that extended trip, a new summer home, or just more time with grandkids, it's about living your best life sooner.
Okay, that's compelling. But all these benefits seem to hinge on understanding practice valuation, which really serves as the basis for negotiations in any deal-making process, right? And while many factors impact practice value, the material consistently highlights one as paramount: average client age. That critical tipping point of 70 comes up again and again.
It does. That transition from a growing client book to a declining book typically happens when the average client age reaches 70. This is where growth becomes such a key mitigation factor.
Growth.
To offset that natural transition of client assets and its impact on value, advisors must continue to grow their practice. Unfortunately, most advisors tend to stop actively growing their practice when they near the last 5 to 10 years of their career, which only accelerates that value decline.
Right, the 5-year myth again.
Exactly. This is why multi-generational planning is so critical too. It's about ensuring assets remain inside the practice, even if the primary clients pass away. Without consistent growth that exceeds outflows, practice value will inevitably and steadily decline. But here's a crucial insight from the research right now. The market is still hot for practice sales.
Obviously. Still.
Yes. Looking ahead into 2025, we're in one of the best markets we've seen to date. Demand is still exceptionally high among buyers, coupled with growing access to capital and strong practice valuations.
Wow.
This means sellers who act now can truly maximize the monetization of the equity they have meticulously built over decades. It's a window of opportunity that advisors should absolutely be aware of.
That's a huge piece of information, especially with the market being so hot. It sounds like the perfect time to explore how advisors can actually make this sell and stay concept a reality. So, what are some of the primary ways we're seeing advisors structure these kinds of deals? I imagine it's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
Indeed, it's far from one-size-fits-all. The material we've reviewed highlights 3 typical approaches advisors use for sell and stay, each with its own advantages and, well, considerations.
Okay, let's break them down.
First up, we have what's known as true sell and stay. In this scenario, the advisor sells 100% of their practice equity, but then stays on for a defined period, typically up to 3 years.
Okay.
During this time, they service a select group of clients on behalf of the buyer, usually compensated through a consulting agreement. The pros here are pretty clear. The seller can make a full exit gracefully while maximizing their economic benefit, securing their legacy, and extending the handoff of client relationships over a managed period.
Sounds good. What's the downside?
The main con, however, is that the seller, having been their own boss for so long, may sometimes resist or struggle to fully adopt the buyer's established way of doing business, their systems, their protocols.
Right. That makes sense. It's a complete shift in ownership and operational control. That could be a significant psychological adjustment for someone who has always run their own ship. Definitely. So, what's the second strategy?
The second strategy is downsizing, sometimes called a partial client group sale. This allows the advisor to sell just a portion of their client group, say those clients who are smaller or require more servicing than the advisor now wants to provide. The goal is to reclaim time, perhaps for family, travel, or other life interests.
Okay.
A great side benefit is that it can actually lead to a higher quality practice overall. It allows the advisor to maybe regrow equity by focusing on their ideal client profiles rather than sheer quantity, effectively enhancing the value of the remaining time in their remaining book. It can also be a way to sort of test the waters with the specific buyer for a complete succession later.
Like a trial run.
Exactly. The pros are that the seller takes equity out ahead of full retirement, enhancing work-life balance, creating a phased succession plan. On the flip side, the cons include the potential difficulty in choosing the right client group to sell. The insights stress it should really be a vertical slice of clients, not just the lower-end ones.
Oh, why is that?
So the buyer gets a representative segment of the practice's overall health and profitability. Also, this strategy might temporarily reduce profit margins, if not carefully planned, because you have fewer revenue dollars against potentially fixed expenses.
Gotcha. That vertical slice point is key then. Buyers want a fair representation. It's about maintaining the integrity of the practice, even in a partial sale. Okay, what's the third option?
And finally, the third strategy involves partnerships, partial equity. This is where the seller sells a portion of their equity but remains in an owner's seat. They become a partner in a larger entity, essentially. The partnership can continue for many years, often leveraging the different strengths of the partners to create a more robust, diversified practice. The initial selling partner is typically the first in line to retire, with a clear path for the remaining partners to acquire the rest of the equity down the road.
So what are the pros there?
The pros are that the seller takes equity out prior to full retirement, while still sharing the responsibilities and rewards of ownership. They get to collaborate with other professionals, actively creating a legacy business that can thrive beyond their individual contribution.
And the cons?
The cons. Well, the seller must find the right partner for long-term success. That's a huge commitment of trust and shared vision, And they also have to adapt to maybe a higher level of business management that often comes with co-ownership in a more complex organization.
So we've outlined true sell and stay for a full yet extended exit, downsizing for a partial step back and a refocus, and partnerships for a collaborative, long-term journey where you remain an owner. These are very different paths. How does an advisor even begin to weigh these options? Are there common scenarios where one clearly outperforms the others based on an advisor's specific goals or even their personality, maybe?
That's an important question, and the answer truly lies in self-reflection and clarity of goals. For an advisor who is absolutely ready to completely step away from ownership responsibilities within a few years, but wants to maximize the sale price and ensure a smooth client transition, the true sell and stay model is often ideal.
Right, clean break financially.
Exactly. They get that clean break while easing out. Now, if an advisor is feeling burnt out by certain aspects of their practice or wishes to reclaim significant personal time, but they still love the client work and want to maintain some ownership, downsizing can be a perfect fit.
Flexibility.
Yes, it offers flexibility and a chance to restructure their professional life.
Yeah.
And for advisors who are looking for continued collaboration, shared resources, or maybe to build something larger and more enduring with others, and they're willing to adapt to a co-ownership structure for the long term, then a partnership is likely the most suitable path.
Okay.
Ultimately, it comes down to desired involvement, the preferred exit timeline, and even the advisor's comfort level with collaboration versus independent decision-making. There's no single best answer, really. Only the best fit for you.
That guidance on matching the strategy to personal goals is incredibly helpful, really practical. And as we've discussed throughout this deep dive, all these strategies circle back to one core message. Peace of mind comes from planning. Remember that 5-year myth. The research consistently reiterates that inaction is truly the greatest risk when it comes to an advisor's succession plan.
It's a powerful point, and the material gives us a truly resonant quote that summarizes it beautifully, I think. The value of succession planning and sell and stay strategies does not only lie in the monetary reward, but in the peace of mind of knowing you have a plan, you've reduced your risk, and you have a competent successor ready for your retirement.
Peace of mind. That's huge.
It really drives home that intangible benefit. Look, you wouldn't let your clients go it alone when it comes to their financial planning. You shouldn't either when it comes to your own legacy and future.
Good point.
Leveraging experienced succession planning consultants is just as critical for advisors as their advice is for their clients. It's really about practicing what you preach.
So what does this all mean for you, the curious listener, and especially for any financial advisors out there tuning in? It means that proactive planning, a deep understanding of these shifting market dynamics, and a thoughtful exploration of these sell and stay strategies are absolutely vital. Vital for effectively monetizing your life's work, securing your financial future, and truly enjoying your retirement on your own terms.
And to leave you with a thought, consider this powerful line that truly resonated with me from our sources. You wouldn't leave your client's legacy to chance. Why leave yours?
Wow.
It's a profound question, isn't it? It really encourages us to reflect on the value we've built, the meticulous planning we apply to others, and the need to extend that same care to our own long-term plans. Think about the peace of mind that comes from taking control of your future, rather than letting it be decided by circumstance or by that ever-present 5-year myth. What proactive step can you take today to start securing your legacy?